What's up, YouTube? It's your boy OG Drip, man. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and press that subscribe button. And today we're talking about the 12 zodiacs or the 12th house. And if you all never know what astrological houses was, here it is now. And if you're having a hard time understanding what people mean when they say I'm a ascended or this and that or this zodiac sign with this planet or this planet behind it, this is kind of finna break you down to understanding what everybody is talking about and the reason why it is starting to not necessarily trend, but this is what's going on because people are starting to find out who they are and how they being tricked out of their life of their own will. So when we think about the 12 zodiacs and you think about the 360 of life and you break that down, it's 30 degrees of each zodiac. So when we think about which house is owned by what zodiac sign, is called the native ruler. So this is the original ruler of the house. So you may be born at a certain time, date, and month. I mean, certain time. Well, just say time in general, and a certain location. So this would be where your ascendant sit at, or your first house. So this is like saying that you could be a Pisces. Your first house could be Pisces, but you know what I'm saying? The first house is ran by originally Aries. So moving on to it, you guys, so y'all won't get lost. I just had to break that down real quick. So when we moving on and talking about your first house would be about your personal stuff, like personal, yourself, and things like that. So when it's talking about how you look at things and how you take things to yourself and stuff like that. So if you've seen a person that's real selfish, you know what I'm saying? They take too strong of the first house. They over abusing the power of the first house. And then if you see a person that ain't selfish enough, it's quite the opposite. But I'm giving it to y'all like this to go ahead and break it down, to moving through these houses fast, because I got a lot of videos coming at y'all. And it's going to really get down to breaking down each zodiac and down each planet with like just by itself. No other ones included. Just literally that one. Because there's a lot to be said about each one of them. So sorry about that. Moving on to the second house. The second house is I want to say the house of values. You get what I'm saying? So this is like where talent and where money and all these things exist at. But keep in mind, if you, oh yeah, and keep in mind it's ran by Taurus as well. I'm sorry about that, y'all. But keep in mind, when you think about people that is talented and they don't have money and stuff like that, they're slacking, or just say they don't know how to will the second house to their greater good. So basically, they don't know how to make it useful. So if y'all have talent out there, y'all need to find ways to getting that talent out there to getting some money. So if you ever seen somebody that's going through it and you like, man, if this person was there, man, they really deserve to be there, but they're not. That is where this house is falling weak at. This house is being broken down. And I'm going to talk about broken houses and rebuilding houses and stuff on another video, but I'm going to keep this simple real quick for y'all. So when we think about the third house is the house of communications. So this is with social activities and I'm sorry about that, how a person think and stuff like that. This is where this exists at. So if you see a person that's real good at communicating and things like that, bro, they 9 times out of 10, they stronghold, I'm gonna just say for right now, they stronghold would be their third house, because they know how to communicate, whether it's familiar places, or whether it's whatever's going on, they know how to communicate. And then you got some people, bro, that don't know how to communicate right. So you tell them something and they take it the complete wrong. Man, you know what I'm saying? This is basically on yourself. I'm sorry. So when you think about how you communicate is how you take into what somebody said, or however, you get what I'm saying? Communication is more than just talking. It's about thinking as well. And this is ruled by Gemini. So moving on to the fourth house is about the house of comfort, I want to say. So this is about your home, family, and privacy. So if you ever think about people that like to keep privacy and stuff like that, and like to be real private, you get what I'm saying? This is where that stronghold exists at. So we're going to talk about also motherhood and fatherhood exists in this house. So when we think about how a person is as a father and how a person is as a mother, whether they care about their kids or not, this is where that house plays a role. So some people have things called also empty houses, and this is where no planets and stuff exist at. So just for the record, some of these things might not apply to a person as much. And that is just simply just saying that is what an empty house basically is. So I'm finna move on to the fifth house though. The fifth house is like the house of entertainment and things like that. So when you think about joy, drama, games, and things like that, how you relate to that is existing in this house right here. So whether you like to play games or whether you don't, whether you like to watch drama or whether you don't, this is where this exists at. So when we think about this, this is owned by Leo, and I forgot to tell y'all the fourth house is owned by Cancer. So moving on to the sixth house, the sixth house has been the house of routine. So this is the things we do on a day-to-day basis, whether it's like health, whether it's dealing with your health, whether it's dealing with your runarounds on a day-to-day basis. You get what I'm saying? So this is where all that exists at. And you wonder why you just got to do these things. This is where that house exists at. So as we going through these houses, y'all finna understand why life work like it work. Don't try to work against it. Don't go against the grain because you're going to create friction. Ride the wave. Don't go against it because you're going to get washed in the current. So as we going down to the saying that this house was owned by Virgo, which is the sixth house. So now when we talk about the seventh house is being owned by Libra, and this is where this is lined up exactly from the first house. So the first house is being about your personal, about you and stuff. Now the second house is how you relate to others. So I mean how you are with others. So this is furthest a business ship, a partnership. Just say for all this all the ships. So for everything y'all trying to get going together, even marriage, this is where this exists at. And we're going to go down to, well, if y'all didn't know, I said it was owned by Libra. So going down to the eighth house, and this is just soft preps, y'all, because these houses get deep, bro. It's like literally get deep. But it's just to get y'all to understanding why life is working like that. So you can stop trying to figure out why life is like this and live with it instead of trying to live against it. So saying the ninth house is the house of life situations. Wait, hold on, I skipped one. I'm sorry. The eighth house. The eighth house is the house of transformation. You get what I'm saying? So this is how you this is the experiences you learn, and this is basically lined up straight from the second house. So when you think about it being lined up from the second house is how you value yourself and stuff like that. Think about the second house and being how you value others. So this is how you look at sex partners, like how you look at like resources, like all of that type of stuff will exist here. And that's just soft prepping. You get what I'm saying? So moving on to saying that is owned by Scorpio. And the ninth house is the house, like I was going to say, sorry about that, is the house of life situations. So this is the house that you gain from communicating with basically others. You know how I said the third house is directly across from the ninth house. So when you think about the third house being the house of communication, you think about the ninth house as being how you communicate with others now. Not how you communicate, but not how others communicate with you or how you communicate with others. So now we want to talk about the wisdom you gain. This is like gaining wisdom, traveling and exploring and all that. This is the parts of life that existed there. So if you like to explore and things like that, this is probably where your son sit at. So going down to saying the 10th house, this is owned by Sagittarius. I'm sorry, the 9th house owned by Sagittarius. And the 10th house is the house of career or the house of status. So this is how you like to be looked at. So if you have a person that don't really care about how they be looked at, that's an empty house. That's probably an empty 10th house because they don't care about their reputation. They don't care about their status and stuff like that. And then when you got one of them people, even like some of our elders be like, don't disrespect me. I stand for this and that. Don't loudmouth me. That is because they look at themselves as this certain status and this certain repetition in their life that they don't need to be told that. So they stand strong in the 10th house. You get what I'm saying? So this is owned by Sagittarius. So as I'm going through these zodiacs, I also want y'all to think these is also the native rulers is also showing you the traits of what you might be. So even if you don't know your birth time and stuff, listen to these situations. Whichever one you take the strongest to, it's probably 9 times out of 10 your first house. Like seriously. Or this is where your moon sit at, is like for your feelings and emotions towards it. So I want to go down and say about the 11th house is the 11th house is off of hopes, faith, and wisdom. So this is basically the information and stuff like that you start bringing to others and things like that. So when you think about the 11th house is lined up exactly with the 5th house. And the 5th house was being how you express or be entertained. So now the 11th house is like basically saying how this relate with others or towards others or how others look towards you. So when we think about this is owned by Aquarius. You get what I'm saying? So that's the zodiac native ruler for that chart is that for that house is Aquarius. So anytime you bring new things or new people or anything like that, or how you adapt to it, this is where that exists at. So you know how people quick to adapt to things, whether it's new or not. Maybe they, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they have they strong house. We're gonna just say stronghold would be sitting in the 11th house because they know how to work the 11th house. So whenever it's a job or whatever, try to give them a new mission or a new job to do, they'll be right on point, ready to jump into it and get right with the program like that. And then you got some that be like, darn, stop switching up stuff, keep it old, stop switching up the new stuff, and that'll be the opposite. So you get what I'm saying? And if people don't care at all about the either or, probably 9 times out of 10 an empty house. But we want to keep in mind, it gets deep, man. So that's why you have to know your time and stuff, because you need to know who you are so you can figure out why you like, exactly why you like you are is explaining these 12 houses. But this is just like the shadowless part of it. Because when you get your stuff, it's literally telling you exactly who you are and exactly how you should go about life to defeat the things that's beating you. So basically all this is everything is about yourself, bro. Like it's about how you getting whooped or everything like that. So each spiritual leader and stuff like this have their own individual pals and their own individual teachings. As long as they could teach you something, tell you why it's like it is, and then back it up, hey, that's all that matters. So y'all, let's talk about basically, like I was just gonna say, let's talk about the 12th house. And the 12th house would be the house of your, like, what subconscious exists at. So this is like the what is your karma too. So when we start talking about illusions and all that thing there, or how you look at life or how you perceive life and stuff like that, dog, this is where that exists at. So you have people that be looking at, let's say for instance, let me give you all a quick example how illusions play a part of your life. You know how you have people that look, you be looking on the TV and you swear they rich and all this and that there. Then when you get down to getting to the nitty gritty, you find out that these people ain't even rich. You find out that none of that was true. The whole illusion got you. You get what I'm saying? So this is basically how I like to say how people perceive life. Like, okay, I'm not going for that bull. I'm going for this right here, and this is what's real. So that's the reason why I make these videos too, so we won't be fooled by these illusions. Because these people, they astronomers, trust me, bro. They know something about these stars, and that's why they keep using it against us. Because the only thing they're doing is beating us with our own will. And that's the video I'm getting ready to drop out of this. So when y'all think about, you know what I'm saying, the 12th house is owned by Pisces, bro. But also the planet, like I was saying, the planets be ruling, bro. So we got different planets that be ruling and things like that too. But I don't want to lose y'all. So I'm going to break down each phases of the moon. Basically, I'm going to break down transit, oppose, when the moon is opposing air sign, and everything like that. I'm going to go through all of them. But if y'all want to get like a personal reading or any of that, you can follow me on Instagram at saucedrip135 and inbox me, and I try to get to it and try to figure out what's going on. And if I don't know, we got this soul group called Soul Flights on Facebook. And there's plenty of people there that will help you, and they will get you right. Because at the end of the day, we all is trying to ascend. So I love y'all soul group. Hope y'all watch this whole video. And man, I'm out. OG Drill.